Alrighty, so if you're watching this, I don't know when it's going to be published, but for sure this is recorded on my birthday, 42 years old. But I'm making this video because I want to help some of my female. Yeah, so I realized that the word female is offensive to some women. And I'm not trying to be offensive, so I'm going to say to my lady friends. How about that? To my women friends. So I'm making this video to help you guys understand some things about the dating market. The dating market, okay? So obviously there's a number of different things you can do within this market, but let's just focus on those who want their end game to be a relationship, marriage. Okay, so for y'all women out there just looking to fuck, y'all don't want nothing serious, you're emotionally unavailable, or you just for whatever reason don't want a relationship, this isn't for you. This is for those who are entering into this dating marketplace that have a desire to reach this end state. Okay. All right. So when you come into this dating marketplace, you got to understand. All right. This is the door right here. I'll make the door a little bit bigger, a little bolder. And I'm not an artist, but so when you come in here and you want to get to this goal, you got to understand there's a couple different lanes to reach this goal. Okay. So you got over here what I like to call, in another video I made, men with limited options, MLOs. Okay. And then down here you have MLOs. I'm sorry, not MLOs. We have men with a lot of options, or men with multiple options. Can't remember the exact term I use, but guys who have more than one option of women, right? Oh, yeah, MWOs. So MWOs. So you got MLOs, men with limited options, and then MWOs, men with options. But there's two flavors of MWOs. Okay. So both of these are similar, but these are men with options who want a relationship. Don't want a relationship. Okay. All right. So let's start with the first one here. So men with limited options. This is probably the fastest path to come in and then get to a relationship or a marriage. And the reason is because they don't have a lot of options. So oftentimes, and I know this because I'm one of these guys, I've done this when I was younger. Oftentimes guys will get into a relationship not because they actually want to be in a relationship, it's because they actually want sex. They want access to a consistent sexual partner, and they think that a relationship is the means to that end. They don't have a lot of options with women to know that that's not necessarily the way that you maintain a stable sexual partner. So they think that, if a woman comes along and she likes him and he likes her, or even if he doesn't really like her, but let's say he enjoys the sex, this man is willing to enter into a relationship very quickly. The question is that going to be the type of man who is desirable to the woman? I don't know. There's a reason why he might be limited with his options. It could be because of his looks. He's not very appealing. Maybe he's not tall. Maybe he's overweight. Maybe he's not a good earner. Maybe he's socially awkward. There's a number of things that could make him a man with limited options. Okay. So, but this is the fastest route to a relationship. So then we hop down to men with options who want a relationship. Okay. So this is definitely a route to get to a relationship. But usually when you're dealing with men that have options, and they want a relationship, so it's going to be the first gate is sex, right? So a lot of times, men with options, women might say, okay, I noticed that all of a sudden he becomes, and she might not know that he's a man with options. She might just know that she's attracted to him and she likes him. So the man with options is my terminology. And this is something that the man would know if he's a man with options for sure. And then maybe the woman might know depending on his profile, his public profile or his status, or maybe even she can tell from the way he carries himself. But let's just say he's a man with options and he wants a relationship. And so does she. But first, right here is the first gate of sex. So she's going to be like, oh, we had sex. Then I noticed like his energy has kind of declined and he's not as consistent, this, that, and the other thing. So when you're dealing with a man with options, so once this happens, so let me go here. Change the color to purple. Okay. So now, once this happens, so now it becomes your turn. Okay. So he did his part to get to the sex, right? And so since he has so many options, he probably has a number of different sex partners. So unlike, let me change this guy. So unlike this guy, this guy right here is not, the first woman that comes along that offers sex or good sex. He's not willing to jump into a relationship. So now at this point, I changed it purple because now it's on the woman to kind of show him what differentiates her from the other women out there that he has access to sexually. So she's saying like, hey, I want you to be in a relationship, a monogamous, committed relationship with me. I want you to walk away from all of the pussy that you have out there, all of the options that you have out there. And so if he's a guy who wants to be in a relationship and he has options, now he's definitely willing to get to this end with you, but it's not going to be just because like, hey, we met, we went on a couple dates, we like each other, let's get into a relationship. He's going to need to see and probably need a period of time. And each man is going to be different. Some men are going to want to observe your temperament, understand like what your financial picture looks like, your debt history. Some men might even want to know your sexual background. If you have kids, it's a lot of men that they want to know more and they want to experience more, right? And so they're not going to be quick to just hop into a relationship. So this is when it becomes on you to actually differentiate yourself and say, hey, I know you have options, but how do I stand out amongst those options to ultimately get to, let's go back to the purple, to this outcome right here. And I think a lot of women fail at this. They perceive this as, they perceive it as like, okay, he got what he wanted. And so like now he's being like inconsistent, which, and that might be true. I'm not saying that that's not true. But at this point, it's like, once he's kind of gotten to the sex and it's like, okay, you're no different than the other women that I'm currently seeing or I can see. And now you want me to abandon all of these bitches. Like, what makes you different? Like, can you cook? Can you help me with some business stuff? Like, what can you do that I value? Not what do you do that you think I should value? What do I actually value as a man who wants a relationship, but not just with the first person that comes along? Like, what do you demonstrate that I can look at and be like, you know what? She would be a good addition to my life. And so I think a lot of women don't understand that, or they don't want to do that. I don't know which one it is. But I think that if you work on understanding like, hey, I'm dealing with a guy that's down here, not a guy that's up here, right? So if I'm dealing with this guy, I really don't have to do much. But then the question is the reason why he doesn't have options, is that okay with you, right? Now, last but not least is this guy down here, men with options that don't want a relationship. So these are the guys who are the players. They usually look good, smell good, might have some money, status, or at least know how to present, themselves such that they do. And so these are, and some of these guys are direct about that they don't want a relationship. And some pretend like they want a relationship, but deep down that they don't, right? But let's just take people on their face value. Like, and let's say people who don't want a relationship and they convey this. I've been in this boat where I've conveyed to women I don't want a relationship, I don't want anything serious from them, but we embark on a sexual situation and their feelings get involved and they want more, and after a while it comes to a head and they get mad and they ghost and they go away because they're not getting what they wanted, even though it was expressed to them up front that that wasn't an option. So a lot of women find themselves in this boat down here is what I'm going to call, let me change the color again. I'm going to call this situationship. If I can spell situationship. This is how you get in a situationship, by taking up with these guys right here, because they told you that they didn't want that, but you know, you found them handsome, you like their lifestyle, you know, whatever that brought you in, and then you realize this guy has a lot of women or other women in the picture, and now you're trying to pop up to his location, you're scratching, you're keying cars, you're putting shit in people's gas tanks. You know, look at, let's go back to, you know, right here when you came into this market, right? And you chose this path that does not lead to the relationship. You know, the door is closed with this individual for a relationship. So don't be mad at him. Don't take your anger out on inanimate objects such as cars. You know, just accept that you made this choice, and then choose better. So you're gonna choose a guy that's probably desirable, but understand you got to put in work to make him want to see those girls that he's been seeing around town and tell him goodbye, like 3 Stacks said. You know, or you can go the easy route. You can get with one of these guys up here. Just understand, like, yeah, he's gonna be faithful. He's gonna come home to you. He's probably gonna provide, but he might not be the most attractive. He might not be the most charismatic. He might not be the most fun. He might not be a lot of things. But in this life, you have decisions to make. And so inevitably somebody's gonna come and say, well, this doesn't apply to this or that. Of course it doesn't apply to every fucking case. But I think we can all agree that in general, if a man does not have options, he's quicker to get into a relationship than a man who does have options. And then men who do have options, sometimes they just don't want to be in relationships, and they're very clear about that. And then sometimes men who have options do want to be in relationships, but their standards are a little bit higher and they expect a certain standard. And so sometimes women don't want to cater to a man, don't want to, you know, be submissive, don't want to control themselves in terms of verbal communication and outburst and interrupting and all types of bad behavior. So, you know, this is why I think that some women are not successful in the dating marketplace and getting to the goal of the relationship, is because they don't choose well. Is number one, they don't understand like what they're picking, and then once they do pick, they don't know what to expect in terms of how to get to the outcome. So I hope that this video is helpful to at least one woman, lady, female out there who's watching this, to understand that when you're dealing with a man, a lot of times it's going to depend upon how many options that he has and what he's looking for. So yeah.